Hi everybody, today we are going to learn about measures of center, all right? And I'm going to explain what that means. It's a fancy phrase in math. I can calculate measures of center. Okay. If you don't have your notes out, you need to pause the video now and get your notes out so you can write down the I can sentence. This is definitely one of our most important skills in 6th grade math. I can calculate measures of center. Okay. This term right here, measures of center. All right, there's actually 4 words that this phrase covers. And you've heard them before. Mean, median, mode, and range. So if you're given a set of data and you're asked to find the measures of center for that data, it means you have to do these 4 things. Find the mean, find the median, find the mode, and find the range. So we're going to go over these 4 things today. All right, so let's look at our first one, and we're going to start with mean. All right, first we need a set of data to work with, all right? So let's assume that the survey question was asked, how many siblings do you have? All right, so, and these are going to be our responses: 2, 3, 2, 2, 1, 1, 0, 4, 2. And we're going to go ahead and work with this set of data for the next few examples that we're talking about here, okay? All right, so the mean. Here's what you do to find mean. There's 2 steps. First, add them all up. Add them all up. So add all your numbers up, all right? So if I'm doing this, all right, I'm going 2 plus 3 is 5, plus 2 is 7, plus 2 is 9, 9 plus 1 is 10, 10 plus 1 is 11, 11 plus 0 is 11, 11 plus 4 is 15, and 15 plus 2 is 17. So when I add all those numbers up, I'm getting 17. The second thing that we have to do then is divide. Divide that number by how many numbers we counted, okay? So if I go back, all right, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 numbers. So I need to do 17 divided by 9. All right, so you could use your calculator, but this really isn't that terrible, so I'm going to do some side work. 17 divided by 9. Well, 9 goes into 17 once, actually. 17 minus 9 is 8. Well, I'm not done, so I have to add my decimal and a 0 and drop it down. Now I have 80. 9 goes into 80 8 times. 9 times 8 is 72. 80 minus 72 is 8. Add another 0, drop it down, have 80 again. All right, so you see we're going to get a repeating happening here. So I'm going to go ahead and say that 17 divided by 9 is 1.8 or 1.88, or I could say 1.8 repeating. Okay, so 1.8 is our answer here. The mean is 1.8. Now today we're just talking about how to calculate all these numbers. Later on we'll go into what using these numbers means. All right, so there's your mean. You are adding all the numbers up, and then you are dividing by how many numbers you counted. Next, we need to take this set of data here, mean, median, mode, range. Let's take 2, 3, 2, 2, 1, 1, 0, 4, 2. Okay, our next one we're going to find is median. All right, I need to make sure I'm carrying over the same data here, so I'm going to look back and forth. 2, 3, 2, 2, 2, 3, 2, 2, 1, 1, 0, 4, 2. Okay. So the question was, how many siblings do you have? Here's our data. Here's our collected answers. Okay, to find median, the first thing you do is you put the numbers in order. So we want to go, usually we go small to big, all right? So I like to cross off my numbers as I use them. So my smallest is a 0, and I have a 1 and a 1. I have a 2, a 2, a 2, and a 2. I have a 3, and I have a 4. So I have them now in order small to big. The second thing we do is we find the middle number. And the middle number is actually going to be the median. The median. So I'm going to start on my ends, okay, and I'm going to cross off the outsides until I get to the middle. So outsides, 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 and this actually is my middle number. So the median for this set of data, the median is 2. Funny, because that's kind of close to my mean, 1.8. That's close to 2. So those are falling, close to each other. Okay? All right. Next, mean, median, mode is our next one. Mode. All right. Same set of data. How many siblings do we have? So we have a 2, a 3, a 2, a 2, a 1, a 1, a 0, a 4, and a 2. All right, mode. There's no steps here to finding mode. All right, mode is the number that shows up the most. The one that is the most popular. The one that's there more than any other number. So if I look at my data, the number that's showing up the most is the number 2. I have 4 of my pieces of data are the number 2. I mean, there's a 1 and a 1, but there's more 2s than anything else there. So the mode of the set of data, the one that shows up the most, is the number 2. All right. Well, it's funny because the median was 2 and the mean was almost 2, 1.8. Interesting how these are all kind of close to each other. All right, and the last one we have is range. Range. Okay, range. So our data, again, how many siblings do you have? And this was our data set, the answers that people gave. Okay. To find the range, it's a simple math problem. You take the biggest number, okay, and you subtract from that the smallest number. All right, so the biggest number minus the smallest number gives us the range. So in this case, the biggest number in our data is 4 minus the smallest number, which is 0. And 4 minus 0 is 4. So the range of our set of data is 4. Now, the range actually is different from mean, median, and mode. And let's talk about that for a second. Okay, if I'm looking at these, the mean, okay, and the median, both of these things are different ways to describe averages. Describe averages, okay? They're both different ways to describe averages. And they both have somewhat different jobs, okay? If all of your numbers are pretty close, all right, if your data is all pretty similar, then if you need to find the average, you're going to use the mean to do that with. And if you have what's called an outlier, you're going to use the median as the average. Here's what I mean. Our data we were looking at was this: 2, 3, 2, a 2, a 1, a 1, a 0, a 4, and a 2. All of these numbers are pretty close together. I mean, if you put them on a number line, okay, and if we started down here with a 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, They're all going to be pretty close together. They're all going to fall near each other on a number line, okay? An outlier is a number that falls a considerable distance away from all the rest. So if I were plotting these numbers as like a dot plot, I have a 2, a 3, a 2, a 2, a 1, a 1, a 0, a 4, and a 2. They're all pretty much down here. If I were to add in an 11, all right, that's way down here. That becomes what we call an outlier. It lies way far away from all the rest of the data. So if we were to add in the number 11 to this data, all right, now we have an outlier. And if we were to find the mean, if we were to add all of these numbers up, plus 11, now our total is going to be much higher than it was before. So that's why we say, if you want to find a central number or an average number, if you have an outlier, use the median, because when you're lining them up, it doesn't have a big of effect as if you were adding them all together, okay? All right. Now, range is its own kind of special thing, okay? Range tells us how spread out a set of data is. Range tells us how spread out a set of data is. All right, our range from that set of data, it was 2, 3, 2, 2, 1, 1, 0, 4, 2. The range for this set of data ended up being 4 minus 0, range of 4. That would be considered a small range. All right, and we know that means that the data is pretty close together. Because when we look at the graph right here, the data was all pretty much close together. When you have a small range, it means that our data is pretty close together. Data is close, okay? Now, if you were to have a large range, okay, a large range, if your answer is a bigger number, that will mean that your data is very spread out. Spread out data. What does that look like? Well, if I were to take a number line, like before, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Right, before, all of our data was over here, all bunched up together, like a cluster. But if I were to take this data, and some's here, some's here, some's here, some's here, some's here, and some of it's here, and some of it's there, and maybe some of it's here, okay? This data is much more spread out than that data was, okay? So this would have a larger range. The smallest number here was a 1, and the biggest number here was an 11. And 11 minus 1 is 10. And that is a much bigger number than 4. So a larger range means that your data is very spread out. And a smaller range means that your data is closer together. All right, so I want you to practice finding these with a different set of data. So example number 1, here we go. Let's say that we collected answers on how many pets people have. So number of pets. And these are the answers they gave. 2, 4, 2, 1, 1, 1, 3, 1, 2, 1. Okay, so let's say that this is our set of data. Okay? I want you to practice finding the mean. I want you to practice finding the median. I want you to practice finding the mode. and I want you to practice finding the range. Okay, so go ahead and pause the video now and do those things. And when you have your answers, go ahead and hit play and see how you did. All right, so here we go. Let's take a look here. Mean. So you should be adding all these together. So a 2 plus a 4 is 6, plus 2 is 8, then we have 9, 10, 11, 11 plus 3 is 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So your total is 18. So you should be doing 18 divided by, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 numbers. 18 divided by 10. So 10 goes into 18 once. I subtract 10 and I get 8. Add my decimal, my 0, drop it down. 10 goes into 80 8 times. 10 times 8 is 80. So I'm done. My mean is 1.8. Okay. Median. For the median, I need to line them all up in order small to big. My smallest number is 1, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I have a 2, a 2, and a 2. 2, 2, 2. I have a 3, and I have a 4. And I covered all my numbers. Okay. The middle number. So we're going to go from the outside in. So outside, 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 outside. Oh, look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 2 numbers. I have 2 numbers that make the middle. What happens now? Well, what we do now is we add them together. So I do 1 plus 2, which is 3. And I divide that number. 3 divided by how many I used. I used 1 and 2. So divided by 2. So 3 divided by 2 is 1.5. So my median is 1.5. When you have 2 numbers that share the middle, you add them together and divide by 2. All right, the mode. The most popular number here is the mode. And the number I see happening the most is the number 1. There are 5 ones, so the mode is number 1. The range is my biggest number minus my smallest. My biggest number is 4. My smallest is 1, so the range is 4 minus 1, 3. My range is 3. So my median was 1.8. My median was 1.5. My mode was 1, and my range was 3. Question: if you were asked to use the mean or the median to describe the average of this data, which one would you use? Would you use the mean or the median? Now go back here where we talked about if all your numbers are similar, choose mean. If the numbers have an outlier, choose median. So the real question here is, does this data have an outlier? Is there a number that's very different and far away from all the rest? The answer is no. So we would choose to use the mean as the average for this data.